Hello and welcome to the Whisky.com news on the 27th of November 2023. And as always, we start off with Scotland. Scotland, we start off with A is Ardbeg, and we start off with the new Ardbeg Anamorphic. It's their new committee release with ex-bourbon casks, where they actually did the lids. They actually had a very special treatment. They lathed in a lot of lines to increase the contact between whiskey and wood, so more surface area and more intense whiskey maturation. Also, the whiskey, the casks were charred really heavily. They call it the high mocha or mocha. I knew it as the highest charring as the alligator char, which is, I think, the American way of saying that. And yeah, so this is just the Scottish way of saying that. Not chill filtered, no color, 48.2% ABV, and the committee release is for the Ardbeg members. But there will probably be the next the public bottling. Let's call it that way. Another news from Ardbeg, which is a little bit confusing, we have Ardbeg the Rollercoaster, which is a set of 2 bottles, and not to be confused with Ardbeg Rollercoaster 2009-2010, and I'm not quite sure if it was a 2016 version. And so this is not the same bottling. The roller coaster is wants to represent the ups and downs of the distillery. The first single malt in the set is from 1981. This was very close to the closing of the distillery, and the second single malt is from 1989. Just after opening the distillery. So this is the ups and the downs of the distillery. Unfortunately, it's only 143 sets worldwide, and they will be really expensive. Then we have another record of auctioning off whiskey, and the Macallan Adami from 1926 distillation date is a new world record with 2.2 million pounds that was auctioned off. There are only 40 bottles, and they were bottled in 1986. So 60-year-old Macallan, 60 years in cask, and I don't know, another nearly 40 inside the bottle. Then we have a very old thing as well, the anniversary of Aberfeldy. They became 125 years old. It's the Aberfeldy 25, and they're bringing out an Aberfeldy 25 years for their 125th anniversary. The maturation was in refill hogsheads, 1 year finish in Oloroso sherry casks, not chill filtered, no coloring, and it is available at Whisky.de and Whisky.com for everybody who comes from the Netherlands. Then we have the Talisker Glacial Edge 45 years. This is a 45-year-old Talisker, and 12 casks of that were shipped to the ice field of Canada and finished or matured there for quite a time, or some time. 49.8% ABV, limited to 2,455 bottles, and available at Whisky.com and Whisky.de. The question is, a Scotch whiskey is defined as produced, matured and bottled inside Scotland, and this was not fully matured in Scotland. Is it still a Scotch? We'll see if we have some legal news in the future, or if it's just too much of a short period of time if you have 45 years in Scotland. Then we have Old Pulteney Port, second edition of the Coastal series. It's a maturation of ex-bourbon casks and port wine casks, 46% ABV, and available at Whisky.com and Whisky.de. Another yearly edition of the Bruichladdich Black Art, 11.1. It's the new yearly edition with 24 years of age, unpeated, 44.2% ABV, not chill filtered, and available at Whisky.de and Whisky.com. Then we have another very expensive Bowmore. For Bowmore, it's not that expensive. It's the Timeless Series 29 years from 1991 or 1992, so it's a combination. Worldwide, there are only 3,000 bottles. It's a combination of sherry and bourbon casks and was matured in warehouse number 1, 53.7% ABV, and also available at Whisky.com and Whisky.de. And we have a bit of a personal change. Jura's distillery manager is getting into his pension. He was the distillery manager since 2016. His name was Graham Logan, and now he's gone and will be replaced by Jamie Moore, who also works for Jura for a long time now, since 2006. So kind of internal, and he knows the in and outs of Jura. That will be very easy for him. Laphroaig, the Archive Collection, the first bottle of the new rare whiskies, is a 36-year-old bottling from 1985. And there will be more bottlings coming up in the future. This one was matured in ex-bourbon cask, finished in second fill Oloroso sherry hogsheads. Cask strength 40.2% ABV, and unfortunately only 400 bottles, with a suggested retail price of £3,750. Quite a lot. That was it with Scotland, and now we're moving on with Ireland. Very old Jameson. It's the Jameson Remixed Caribbean Beats 21 years. Part of the Jameson Anthology editions. And it was matured fully in Caribbean rum casks. And it's Selección de Maestros Havana Club Rum Season casks. So Havana Club casks, limited to 2,900 bottles, and they are in smaller size of half a liter, 0.5 liters, 46% ABV. Then we move on to Dingle, and they have something hard to pronounce as well. Grainstad an Gheimhridh. Gheimhridh. This is Gaelic, and it's part of the Wheel of the Year series. I think we already had a few of them here on the news, and it's the 5th edition, and they always celebrate particular celebrations of the Gaelic calendar. Directly translated would be stopping or stop of the sun. There are 8 of these bottlings coming up in total, so we are at 5 out of 8. And then let's move on to the United States. A lot of expensive whiskey over there as well. We have a new bottling called the Wild Turkey Generations. Whiskey of the 3 generations. As you know, there are 3 generations working of the Russells within Wild Turkey: Jimmy, Eddie, and Bruce. And they sat all together and created a new bottling. It's made of 9, 12, 14 and 15-year-old Wild Turkey bourbons. Limited to 5,000 bottles, and it looks like it's gonna be a US market only, maybe a bit of Canada. It's gonna have a suggested retail price of $4,500, 60.4% ABV. So, as I said, really, really expensive. The next one, also really, really expensive. It's the oldest bourbon of the Eagle Rare from the Buffalo Trace series, the Eagle Rare, 25 years old. Back in the days, 25 years ago, it would have been called Ancient Ange, and they matured it in the experimental Warehouse P. Only 200 bottles, 50.5% ABV, and a suggested retail price of $10,000. As I said, really, really expensive American stuff. Then we go into the international markets. There is a new whiskey museum, the Grande Whisky Museum. It's not that new, but it's getting their Guinness Book of World Records award. For the 2 awards they actually do get. They get the most expensive collection and most expensive whiskey bottle. The value of the collection is 128 million Singapore dollars. That's about 89 million euros. somewhere around dollars as well. I'm not quite sure. I think it's pretty one-to-one with the dollar, so around $90 million as well. And the most expensive bottle was 25 million euros, so that should be then $26 million or something like that. But I highly doubt that someone will buy that bottle. The museum is 740 square meters, so quite big of a size, and it has 7,000 very old and very rare whiskey bottlings. As you knew, I had a bit of technical problems with the sound here in the studio, so I'm a bit late with videos and I'm a bit late with my news, but hopefully everything will now work pretty fine, and we will keep up the 2 weeks Whisky.com news cycle that you are used to. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.